So behind me is our delivery of Gen 3 springs from Pedders. Every single car in pit lane will have access to the exact same number of springs and the exact same spring rates. We have 17 different spring rates to choose from, ranging from 65 to 155 newtons per millimetre, and each team receives 8 of each rate of spring per car. So that's 136 springs per car, or 272 springs behind me for a 2-car team. And although all these springs look very similar, there are some important differences which create the different spring rates. The thinner the wire diameter, the softer the spring rate. Our softer spring here has a wire diameter of around 11.5 millimeters, and the stiffer spring, 155 newton per millimeter spring, is around 14 millimeter wire diameter. The next contributing factor is the number of coils or turns from the bottom of the spring to the top. These are much closer over the range of spring rates, with the stiffer spring having around 7.5 turns and the softest 8.5 turns per spring. Before undertaking the manufacture of springs for the category, Pedders surveyed the teams on their primary requirements to create the most suitable spring for supercars, and they've achieved all of the items that we highlighted to them. One of those items was dimensional accuracy and the flatness of the ground top and bottom of the spring. Unlike a road car, where the top and bottom coil finish with a full diameter, motorsport springs need to be ground flat, and these surfaces need to be parallel to each other and perfectly perpendicular to the axis of the spring. And the second important item was the consistency of stiffness between springs of the same nominal spring rate. This means that, for example, all 120 newton per millimeter springs measure as exactly or as very close to 120 newtons per millimeter, rather than some at 118 or some at 122. Because if there was a regular or significant discrepancy, we would need to go through all 272 of our springs, rate them manually, and then match them in pairs, so that when installed to the car, they are matched left to right with a spring of exactly equal stiffness. To check this, we've rated a range of springs at various nominal rates, and found that Pedders have done a very good job in hitting the nominal spring rate to a very small tolerance. This has given us confidence that each spring is exactly matched to the rate that it needs to be.